Hey guys, Ryan with Shootwise. Today we're going to do a nice fun video during quarantine. We're going to camouflage our AR. We're going to do a woodland style camo, and I'm going to go a little bit cheap because I just can't justify paying someone to cerakote it woodland camo for $350, $400. So I'm going to go ahead and Aluma Hyde this myself. So we're going to start off here at the shop, just because tools are more accessible here and much easier to work with. And we're going to take this gun apart and get it mocked up. Here at the workbench, we're going to start taking this apart. We're going to do some fancy editing, and we're going to speed this whole process up. If you do need to know how to take an AR apart, there's plenty of videos out there. This video is going to be focusing on how to do woodland camo with Aluma Hyde. Alright, so let's get to ripping this apart. That was quick. So we got it down to the parts that I'm going to actually camo. So in this case, I'm going to do the handguard, the upper receiver, the lower receiver. I did have to take the barrel nut to be able to take this dust cover off. This is a bootleg upper, so it doesn't have the little C-clip to hold it in place. It's like a dead end side pin, so the pin just slides in, holds the dust cover in place. The barrel nut keeps that from coming out while shooting, so I had to take that off. But I'm going to leave the barrel on there so I can get the camo pattern to line up well. I didn't want to do the takedown pins, the fire control, the magazine release, the bolt catch, the pistol grip. I thought about doing the pistol grip, but I don't think I'm going to do it. So I left the trigger guard on there. I'm going to go ahead and camo that up. We're also going to do the ACOG with the Midwest Industries QD mount, and also the rear stock. I tried to figure out how to take this rubber off. I think it's molded to it. I fought with it for about a minute and was like, I'll just tape it. Reasons I'm not going to camo these other parts, it's just sling. Obviously you're not going to camo that. You could camo these parts if you wanted to, like your magazine. I got so many magazines, I'm not going to camo them all, so I'm just going to leave that alone. The buffer spring, you could camo this. I would just be concerned about over time the material coming off. The more and more you use it, probably not that big of a deal, so I'm just going to leave it anodized. It's fine with me. Your bolt carrier group, you could camo that in there if you want that to match, but this is MP3 coated, so it's got Teflon built in, so it's self-lubricating. Don't need to mess with that, just leave that alone. Charging handle, there's a lot of wear that goes on with the charging handle, so I'm just going to leave that anodized. Also, a lot of these parts being remaining anodized, I think are going to add some nice accents to the whole rifle after it's finished. And then all your little springs, your trigger, you don't want to camo that. I mean, you could. All this stuff could be camoed. But you do run the risk of having too much material there and therefore having some type of issues later down the road. But you could remove that paint and get it up and running again. Not a big deal. I'm leaving my sights black anodized. I think that's going to add with the whole look of the gun. So all those small parts. And I'm going to pass on the pistol grip. I did think about it. This whole gun I built probably about 3 years ago. It's a Frankenstein. It's got all kinds of cool parts in it. It's an awesome shooting rifle, and I've been itching to do a woodland camo, but I just couldn't bring myself to spend that kind of money just for looks. I'm okay with spending that kind of money for function, but not just for looks. So since this is looks, I'm hoping that this whole project, probably from start to finish, will probably only cost me around $30 to $50. We're going to find out. And these are the parts I'm not going to camouflage. These are the ones I will camouflage. And let's go ahead and get to my garage, and we're going to start degreasing everything and mocking stuff up to get ready for Aluma Hyde. The grease, and I like to use brake cleaner. Now you do want to watch with the brake cleaner. Some plastics actually eats it, so you might want to do like a little test spot in certain areas that are plastic to see if it's going to eat through it or not. So let's go ahead and get this all cleaned up. Now we want to get all the oil and grease off, otherwise that's going to prohibit the Aluma Hyde from sticking. So like this Magpul trigger guard's plastic, it looks like it's doing just fine. Some cheaper plastics, this stuff will eat through it, so just be aware of that. And no, O'Reilly's is not sponsoring this video. So you just want to get all the oil, just degrease everything. Get all the little crevices. And we're going to go ahead and speed this up for you. Mission First Tactical stock here. I taped off the rubber recoil pad. Don't want to paint that. The Aluma Hyde would flake off the aluminum. Off the rubber. So the Aluma Hyde won't stick to that very well. So we're going to go ahead and just paint the plastic. We got that degreased and taped up. Now we're going to go ahead and tape up the rest of this. And you just tape up what you don't want. Aluma Hyde, generally you don't want any of the internals done because that could hinder the operation of the firearm. So let's get to it. Got that all taped up. You only want to do really good jobs on the stuff that you don't want Aluma Hyde or painted. Now we're going to attach the upper and the lower together. I'm going to take this wooden dowel and I'm going to cut little pins. I'm going to insert those in the pinholes to hold everything together. So when we put our stencils down on the surfaces, that they will go to the other surfaces so that they all match. Our pegs in there now, and that's going to hold the upper and lower together while we have it hung up to paint and stencil. Alright, so we're at the Aluma Hyde stage. This is offered by Brownells. You can go on their website and purchase this stuff. It's Aluma Hyde 2. This is OD green we're going to use. We're going to use earth brown, semi-gloss black, and the final color will be coyote. So we're just using 4 colors today for this camo pattern. Now anytime you're spraying airsoft items, you're going to want to wear a mask. This is by 3M. This is a great mask, not too expensive. It's got interchangeable carbon filters that you can change out. So as they get dirty, you can change them out to new fresh ones. I find that the elastic bands don't last that long. So you might get like 2 filter changes before you're just going to have to change the whole mask out completely. But these are great masks. And I'm going to wear this during the section of the video where I'm not talking, where I'm just mainly just spraying, but the parts of the video that I'm doing narration during, I'm not going to have the mask on just because I'm not going to be able to project my voice so that you can hear what I'm talking about and what's going on. But we got good ventilation here. We got the garage door open. We got a exhaust fan up above that's exhausting fumes out above the garage. So we're going to be all good to go there. But anytime you're spraying, you definitely want to wear a mask. And I recommend these 3M ones. They're great. And you want to keep the bag so that when you store it, you can store it inside the Ziploc bag so that dust and debris doesn't collect on the mask and it becomes dirty at that point. You want to keep it nice and fresh. First up, black. Consistent coat all the way around. But you want to make sure you don't get any runs. You don't want to overcoat it where you got too much saturated on there and it starts dripping. You just want a nice medium wet coat all the way around. And sometimes these little tighter spots you might miss. So you just want to look in those areas. Also underneath, you want to make sure you just don't miss anything. It all helps with a good camo job if you just take your time and just look around with some good lighting. It looks like we got pretty good coverage at the moment. So we're just going to let this cure and then we can start putting stencils on this. Day 2 on this project. So day 1 we're able to get the gun tour part. We're degreased, taped up, and we got our first coat of the camo job done. So we got the semi-gloss black on there from Brownells. This is Aluma Hyde 2. A rifle here that I camoed. This is my Ruger American 300 Blackout. And I pretty much just use this for hunting. And it's starting to get some really nice wear and tear from this Aluma Hyde. It also adds a layer of texture so you can get a good grip on the firearm. I really enjoy that. Pretty cool. As you can see, I got a couple of accents on here. We're going to try to up that on this particular camo job where we're going to have more items that are not camoed. I think it's going to look pretty cool. Got my coffee this morning. We waited a good 14 hours from our first coat on this camo build. So now we can start putting our stencils down. I want to wait for it to cure up a little bit. This Aluma Hyde actually takes a long time to cure, and the longer that most paints take to cure, generally the harder and tougher it becomes. So this generally takes about 7 days to fully cure. So I just waited about 14 hours. We're going to start putting our vinyl camo down and start working on our different layers to get this nice woodland camo on here. And that's what we're going to do on day 2 today. So I picked up this woodland camo. This is vinyl little cutouts that we're going to stick on there today. I got this off of Amazon. The company that provided it is Tactical Penguins. I got 2 packs of the vinyl and they cost $13.99 each sheet. So it's not that cheap, but it also saves you a lot of time trying to cut tape in that woodland camo look. So I think it's worth the money, and we're going to go ahead and try this out today and see how well it goes. Now wherever you put this camo down at this point, it's going to become black because when you peel this off, that's what's going to be left showing is the black. Now other guns are going to probably be easier. This has the bootleg upper on here, so there's a lot of dips because they've removed material to lighten up the receiver. So that's making stuff a little bit more difficult. Nothing that we can't overcome. And that's our first one down. Now we're going to do some fancy editing, and we're going to speed this up. Brownells Aluma Hyde that we're using. We got Coyote, we got OD Green, we got semi-gloss black, and then we got earth brown. Now you want to make sure that you clean your tips, because you see how the gunk builds up. See how this gunk builds up on the tips there? This tip is not going to be reusable. You want to make sure you clean them out, especially with some brake cleaner. You just put it in the nozzle and you make sure that it's free of debris, just like that. Works pretty good. And also I recommend cleaning the tops so that you can reuse this the Aluma Hyde later on when you want to camo another firearm. Also, buy multiple tips. They will get clogged at some point and they won't be able to be saved. So it's good to have some extras on the side, just so that when you're in the middle of a project, you're not like, oh man, my tip clogged, now I gotta wait a week for me to get a new one from Brownells. So just buy a pack of 12. They got different arrangements. They got like fan, or they just got traditional spray. Either works well. Also recommend a little pick, so you can clean out any type of debris that builds up. Now this stuff you want to spray within 70 and 90 degrees. That's the ideal temperature to apply this stuff at. You can also bake it on after to make it a little harder. But my other rifle I camoed, man, that's been about 5 years now, and it's doing well. I only baked it to about 100 degrees for about 30 minutes, and then let it sit for 7 days, and it's running strong. So we got the camo all set up on the rifle, so let's go ahead and start spraying. So there's no right or wrong way to camo a firearm. Pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm separating the colors, and the black, when we peel that off, is going to really highlight the separation of the colors. So I got the earth brown here, we got some OD green. As you can see, we still got areas that are black. I'm going to come in with the Coyote color, and then I'm going to come back and look at areas that I can maybe spray into more, so we can get a little bit more coverage, a little bit more separation of colors. And that's where we're at right now. Let's continue on spraying. Also, before you start spraying on your firearm, you want to do a test spray on something. I'm using a piece of plywood right here, and you just come spray, make sure everything's working well, make sure you got good coverage and that your tip's not clogged, and then go to town. And you pretty much just make this your own. Right here, I got Coyote, so I'm gonna go back to the Coyote. I got some black spots I missed. So this backside by the ACOG isn't really covered that well, and that is the earth brown, so I'm going to go back to that color there. It looks like we got good coverage right now. We're going to let this cure for maybe about 3 hours, and then I'm going to come back and start peeling off the vinyl camo stickers, and then we're going to have to let this set for about 7 days for it to fully cure, and then we can put the rifle back together and see what it looks like. Peeling off all the camo vinyl stickers that we put on there. I'm going to put some gloves on because this stuff isn't fully cured, so you will leave fingerprints. So with the latex gloves, we're going to try to prevent leaving fingerprints, and hopefully it doesn't come off with the latex gloves if we make any contact. So I'm going to try to hold everything by parts that are not camouflage, like the string, the barrel right here, the other side where the string is, and then I'm going to use a pick to remove each little vinyl sticker, and we're going to let it fully cure for 7 days. But I want to get the stickers off right now while the Aluma Hyde is still a little bit wet, because once it fully cures it becomes really hard, so therefore we could run the risk of peeling some of the Aluma Hyde off with the vinyl stickers. So let's go ahead and jump on that. Alright, we got all the vinyl stickers peeled off. Hopefully I got them all. Not sure yet. I might have missed one or two. I did put some really small vinyl dots down. We'll see. I think I got them all. The lighting right now is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the camo that I'm seeing right now. The black really sets it off once you peel off those vinyl stickers. And now we just got to wait 7 days for this to fully cure, and then we can put the whole rifle back together. So I think this came out pretty kick-ass. I am so happy with the way that this look all came together. I think it came out better than I was expecting to start off with. It just got that rough look to it. Looks like it's been around the block. It looks like the platform has changed several times, and someone's just been trying to perfect it to get it to operate just the way that they want it. And it looks like it's been painted a couple of times. That's the way I wanted it to look. That's why I went with the little crinkle in certain spots, and got the paint a little bit more millage on there. Got a little thicker than I would normally do on a camo job, but I was going for a certain look for this, and I just wanted to look like it's been around the block, and and the platform's changed over the years, you know, a little evolution, a little evolving as it goes. In some spots I got it to where it crinkles. I think that's a pretty cool look that I did. I did that in certain spots, and the way that I achieved that was that I left the solvent from the brake cleaner inside the nozzles for the Aluma Hyde, and the first spray when you have that brake cleaner in the nozzle will cause it to start crinkling like that. And I'm super stoked with the results, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I considered sending it off to get cerakoted, but then I kept on looking at all the camo jobs that were done by Cerakote, and they just looked too cookie cutter for me. They were just too perfect, and I'm like, man, I want something a little rough around the edges. I want something that just looks like it's been out there and it's been used and abused, and I think that's the look I got going here. It's looking pretty kick-ass. Now if you want, you can do camo jobs where they're medium wet coats and they're nice and smooth and slick, just like this one here. This is my Ruger American that I use for hunting, and I mean, that's medium wet coats, nice consistency there. But that's not the look I was going for this particular project. I wanted that rough around the edges. I wanted the paint to crickle in some spots like it was next to like a water heater or something. It just got too hot and the paint started peeling up. I really glad I went with the semi-gloss black. I thought about doing the matte, but then I was like, man, I really want that black to pop. So the semi-gloss really makes that pop well. And if you notice here on the brown earth, it's really got a sheen to it. So that kind of pops out between all the other colors that are matte, which you got the OD green that's matte, you got the coyote that's matte, and that brown earth just pops out where you're like, whoa, there's a little sheen there, a little shine. So I think this came out pretty kick-ass. Total, if you add everything up, the 4 cans of Aluma Hyde from Brownells, if you add up the stencils I got, which I actually bought enough stencils I probably could do 3 rifles, and that was just with 2 sheets. The brake cleaner comes out to 87.72 cents, and from my experience with the Aluma Hyde, you can probably get about 5 to 6 camo jobs for rifles, and I think those go a long way. I recommend buying several different colors. Now you could just go with one color and just do a solid color, but I think the camo really stands out when you do multiple colors. I'm probably going to camo some more guns since I got enough stickers to do it. The vinyl stickers came from Tactical Penguin from Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below if y'all want to go hit that up. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks for getting us over 1,000, and see y'all next time. Later.